All right, let's talk about something that's, well, it's tough, but so incredibly important. We're going to dive into how to recognize the signs of a manipulative relationship and, crucially, what you can actually do about it. So let's get right into it. If those questions hit a little too close to home, it might be a sign that something's not right. The tricky thing is, this stuff often starts out super subtle, which makes it so hard to see at first. But the impact? Yeah, that's always a big deal. So you might be wondering, how does anyone even end up in a relationship like this? Well, here's the thing. They almost never start out bad. In fact, it's usually the opposite. They start out feeling like an absolute fairy tale, which is what makes it so confusing when things start to change. This fairy tale beginning has a name, and it's called love bombing. It's this intense tactic where your partner just seems perfect. They shower you with affection, they're constantly paying attention to you, and you feel like you're the only person in the world. But here's the catch. It's not just a sweet honeymoon phase. It's actually a strategy to get you to lower your guard so they can control things later on. And you might see it pop up again, especially if they think you're about to walk away. And that's the big shift, right? You go from this perfect partner phase to this slow, creeping emergence of controlling behavior. It's so gradual that you're left just scratching your head, wondering, what happened to the person I fell for? So what does that shift actually look like? Let's get into the specific red flag. Okay, so this is really the heart of it all. We're going to break down the key warning signs of manipulation and control. Because honestly, just being able to see these signs for what they are, that's the first and maybe the most important step you can take. First up, they'll completely distort your reality. I mean, nothing is ever their fault. They'll lie, they'll make excuses, they'll twist the facts around, anything to avoid taking responsibility. And a lot of the time, they'll flip it so they look like the victim, making you feel sorry for them. And this is a classic example of something called gaslighting. I'm sure you've heard that term. Clinical psychologist Dr. Lena Dickin puts it perfectly. It's when your partner makes you feel like your feelings are wrong, that you're crazy or you're overreacting. The whole point is to make you doubt yourself, to question your own reality, so that their version of events is the only one that matters. Another huge red flag: they chip away at your confidence, bit by bit. This can look like constant criticism, little digs and insults, or even them bringing up your most embarrassing moments, often in front of other people. They might even attack your deepest beliefs to make you doubt who you are. And you know where this usually comes from? Their own insecurity. They have to put you down to feel better about themselves. And this really gets at the core difference between a healthy relationship and a manipulative one. It's unconditional love versus conditional love. In a healthy relationship, you're loved for who you are, period. But with manipulation, affection always has strings attached. It's stuff like, I'd love you so much more if you just lost a little weight. See, love isn't a feeling there, it's a weapon, a tool they use to get what they want. Okay, this next one is a huge one. Isolation. A manipulative partner will try to drive a wedge between you and your friends, your family, your entire support system. And why would they do that? Simple. They don't want anyone in your ear questioning their behavior. This usually shows up disguised as intense jealousy or them being paranoid that you're going to cheat. Then you've got the more obvious in-your-face control tactics, like yelling just to get their way because they know you hate conflict. Or the silent treatment, right? Punishing you by withdrawing all affection until you finally cave. And then there's sexual pressure, maybe guilting you with lines like, if you really loved me, you'd do this. And when you add all of this up, the effect is just devastating. It wears you down over time until you start to believe that they're your only option, that no one else could possibly want you. It's a horrible feeling of being completely and utterly trapped. Okay, and I need to be crystal clear about this next part. If your partner ever makes a threat, whether it's against you, themselves, people you love, or even your things, you have to take it seriously, 100% of the time. This isn't just a red flag, it's a blaring siren. It's a dangerous escalation, and it means you need to get help right away. So, seeing the signs is step one. But what's step two? What can you actually do? Well, let's talk about a framework for how to communicate, and more importantly, how to set some really firm boundaries. All right, so experts recommend this four-step approach. First, find a time to talk in private, when things are calm and there are no distractions. Second, and this is key, use I statements. It's about your feelings, not blaming them. Third, you have to be super clear about your boundaries, what's okay and what's absolutely not okay. And finally, number 4, you have to spell out the consequences. What's going to happen if they cross that line? Let's look at a great example of an I statement. Instead of saying, "You're such a jerk for insulting me," you say, "I feel belittled and disrespected when you insult me in front of other people." See the difference? It's all about how you feel, which makes them way less likely to get defensive. They might actually hear what you're saying. But here's the thing about boundaries. They're pretty much useless without consequences. A boundary without a consequence isn't really a boundary at all. It's just a suggestion. So for example, if you set a boundary that says no yelling, the consequence has to be clear. If you start yelling, I'm going to leave the room for 30 minutes. And you have to do it every single time. But let's be real. Sometimes talking isn't enough. And sometimes it's just not safe. And that brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most important part of this whole conversation, your path to safety. I'm going to say this again, because if you take away only one thing today, let it be this. Your safety comes first. Period. No exceptions. So if you've been feeling isolated, it's time to start rebuilding those bridges. Reach out to your friends, call your family. These are the people in your corner. And think about talking to a therapist, just for you. They can give you the tools you need to untangle all these complicated feelings and figure out your next move. And don't underestimate the power of self-care in all this. I'm talking about things like journaling, meditation, positive affirmations. These aren't just fluffy wellness trends. They are real tools to help you rebuild your confidence and start getting your validation from yourself again, not from your partner. And listen, if at any point you feel unsafe, you need to get professional help. That's non-negotiable. Look up local domestic violence shelters, have an escape plan ready to go. Just knowing you have a way out can give you a sense of control and can literally be a lifesaver. So let's end on this. This isn't about fixing everything overnight. That's impossible. It's about taking one small step. So I want you to ask yourself, what is one thing you can do today, like right now, to support yourself? Maybe it's sending a text to a friend you haven't talked to in a while. Maybe it's just taking a few deep breaths. Whatever it is, that first step is completely yours.